The seats at the Uganda's oldest theatre are slowly drying up. For months now, management has been arguing that the place is not productive.
At the moment, this facility we're running, the money that we get from here is very little. We're not able to do much with it.
And to make their case, they're now suggesting the construction of a twin-tower building in a bid to raise revenue.
We are thinking that we should have 2 towers in this place, and that's the concept. We have 2 towers, and because this is first of all a prime land, and now for development we cannot go horizontally, we need to go vertically up because we don't want to waste the land that is there.
The theatre's director, Peter Lojede, is hopeful about it and minces no words in his passion for the project.
We already thought about the name. The name we want it to be called the Culture Tower. It should rise and so that it supports culture.
Despite being in its early stages, the construction is being touted as the lifeline for the arts industry of the biggest center in the city.
The National Theatre as it is will remain because it is an icon. It is actually, according to UNESCO, it is listed. According to the government, it's also listed among the buildings that must be preserved.
Philip Luswata, an actor, has been at the theatre for 21 years now, and he says the construction of a tower is a non-starter.
2 twin towers, they call them. Twin towers. Now, you're going to put 20 stories in that space. That's 40 stories. How many people are coming into that space? Has KCCA said that that space can handle that amount of sewage, that amount of electricity, that amount of traffic? Are the roads redone to suit such a thing? We need to plan.
He argues that culture to drive audiences to the theatre and not reconstruction will save it.
How have you failed to go to Uganda Kingdom and tell them, give me 100 by 100 somewhere in Masaka so that we can set up a social center for a cultural center in Masaka? Why don't they tell the investor to do that? Why don't they tell the investor to go to Bugisu and do the same? Why doesn't he go to Teso and Sensoroti? You need a center. You help us. Let's do it together. Yeah, this is culture. This is your people to express.
He narrates some of his glory days to prove his point.
When we started out at the National Theatre, we were cared for. We were made accountable by the leadership at the management at the National Theatre. We were young boys, but those guys would come. They look at you sitting there on that veranda and they say, you boy, what are you doing? There's a workshop there. There's that there. There's this happening here. There's something happening in UTV. There's something happening in Radio Uganda, and you're just seated there.
The Uganda National Theatre has been in existence for now 57 years. Originally given as a donation from the colonial masters like Andrew Cohen and local contributors, the theatre has sat at the center of many of Uganda's successful arts. But revenue flow to the theatre has dwindled, forcing management into measures like commercial parking. Artists argue that the arts are not being supported enough to raise the revenue that the theatre needs.
Of recent, since the management we have now came in, all these dreams, no one dreams in theatre anymore. You go to the theatre to be depressed.
The idea for a twin tower is still in its young stages, but certainly will be met by resistance from artists who argue the space for ideas at the theatre has sunk in favor of commercial events. After 57 years of existence, the management of the National Theatre now thinks that this building is not making enough money for them. And so they have turned to the more attractive spaces like this one in the parking lot, which they say they will construct twin towers. But some artists argue that this might be an overstretch on the heritage of the country. Raymond Mujuni, NTV.